Glasgow stiffest test you have
Yeah, definitely. They showed against Munster in particular how effective they can be. And I was speaking to a couple of the guys at Leinster as well, and said that they were fortunate to win that game, Leinster were. So they're on form. They're playing a decent brand of rugby, and they're scoring plenty of points as well. So it's a real test for us. We haven't been on top of our game, I don't believe, in the last couple of games. Zebre away, and the Dragons. We had patches in the game where we allowed the opposition back into the game without the ball. In particular, we're going to have to be far more secure than we have been in the last two matches, because Glasgow will punish us more so than maybe the Dragons and Zebre were able to do.
And Munster tried to play an open game against them. They gave away a lot of interceptions in a way. Is the style of rugby you play sort of slightly more dangerous against the way Glasgow are playing now, or is it definitely the way to play? Yeah.
I think we were able to play a couple of ways, and I think we have to respect some of the things that they do without the ball and make sure that we don't fall into a trap of giving them some of those opportunities. So I think we've had plenty of time to study Glasgow and try and pick out some areas that we want to attack in, and potentially some areas where we need to be mindful of them with the ball. So I think we're having had the break, which is at this time of year, it's nice in one sense because you get a chance to really focus the minds on the next team. You're not sort of going from performance to performance. It was frustrating watching the Heineken Cup this weekend and watching the Amlin, but you know we've still got plenty of focus for the Pro12 and looking to kick on and gain some silverware there. So that's our focus. Nice to see the physical games on the weekend were, that impressed me the most. The nature of the games. It wasn't that much attacking rugby in the Heineken, but defences won the games really, and some of the goal kicking as well. So it was good to see, and it kind of it gives you that bit of enthusiasm and drive to try and be in there again sometime.
So, Simon, how difficult has it been for you then, personally? Obviously the Scarlets are short of cash, there's players leaving and all. How difficult is it for you as a coach and a bloke, really? Because obviously you want to be successful.
Yeah,
you want a club to be successful.
You got to play with the cards you dealt. So I don't think we're the only club in Wales or region in Wales that
no, I know
is short of finance compared to other teams in Europe and in our league even. We're very fortunate that we have a number of benefactors that have assisted the region for well over my time here, 12, 13, 14 years, and it's important that we get a resolution on this dispute as soon as we can, hopefully, which will allow us to be more competitive.
What are the special things you learned this year?
Just for me personally, a lot of man management things that I wouldn't have to maybe deal with as an assistant coach. There's dealing with more recently in the last couple of months player contracts and the comings and goings of players. It's a really difficult time for players this period, because the ones that are searching and looking to keep contracts, and the inevitable cycle of players coming and going from a club, and it's a really difficult emotional time. And I've been through that as a player, but now I'm on the other side of the fence, and I'm trying to deal with that in the best way I can. Try and be open and honest with the players, and it is. It's not an easy time, so we've got to make sure we respect those players that maybe are moving on, and some of those players are moving on not out of choice, but it's some of them are moving on because we haven't got the funds to keep them.
Did you realise emotionally how difficult it is being an head coach, having to deal with all that stuff when you were a player? Or is it sort of thing that passes a player by?
Well, I think you don't probably appreciate it you know, as a player, you're one of 40 as a head coach. You know, you've got all these players under you and coaches as well. So I'm lucky that I've got the support around me, to be honest, with the other coaches, and it, you know, it does alleviate a lot of the you know, a lot of the workload. But at the end of the day, I've got to hang my hat on things, and it's my decision. And it's there's some fairly difficult and some decisions which aren't nice, but if I want this and put my stamp on this team, then it's these decisions unfortunately have to be made.
On a more positive note, it sounds like Scott Williams has agreed a new deal. Are you in a position to say anything about that at the moment?
Well, we've been speaking to Scott for quite a while, to be honest, and hoping that that will be resolved. I can't say for sure that he's signed, but it would be hopeful that he will very soon.
Reece Priestland, what's his situation at the moment? Is he?
Reece is good. He's training with the boys. He's not done a huge amount of contact yet, but he's looking really sharp, and you know, he's on target as far as we can tell. And there is an opportunity possibly to get some rugby in before the end of the season. Not many games left from our perspective. Hopefully 5. But Reece is doing really well, and like I said before, we're not putting a huge amount of pressure on him. If he feels right to play, then he will. If he's not, then you know, we'll hold off. But that will be probably his call and the physio's call.
Have you penciled a game in for him?
No, not yet. No.
Is it the carrot? Well, obviously, hopefully you guys be in the playoffs, but is it also the Lions carrot, you know, driving him on to come back as well? Or
I don't think so. I think he just wants to get back playing, and I think that would be a huge bonus from where he's been since his injury. So, you know, I think he's fairly level-headed. He's not going to get too far ahead of things, and if he can play a little bit for us, then he might have an opportunity for the Lions potentially, but also for Wales. And then anything happens then in the Lions tour, then I'm sure Reece will be on the top of the list of 10s to travel out to Australia if someone gets injured.